And that would basically just be her way of referring to them, acknowledging the incident, and just acknowledging that they were protected and watched over on the other side. So if anything, that's validating that she's still around.
Who knew Hollywood's favorite medium, Tyler Henry, was hiding quite a few skeletons in his own closet? The psychic, famous for exposing A-listers' deepest, darkest secrets, has suddenly found himself at the center of some shocking revelations. From hidden family crimes to production secrets that call his legitimacy into question, the way the world perceives Tyler is about to change. Tyler has spent years building a devoted following and offering celebrities closure by allegedly conveying messages from the other side. But if you thought his readings were dramatic, wait until you hear what's been going on behind the scenes. Tyler's career as a Hollywood medium. In 2015, Tyler's life changed forever when he was asked to appear on one of the most iconic reality shows of all time, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. He met with the Kardashian sisters, Kim, Kourtney, and Khloe, to help them connect with their late father, Robert Kardashian. During the reading, Tyler shared impressions that he said were coming from their father. The moment was emotional, intimate, and most importantly for Tyler, it was his first real introduction to millions of viewers. That appearance convinced executives that the medium needed his own moment to shine, especially because he was a natural in front of the camera. Almost overnight, Tyler went from being a small-town boy to reading for some of the biggest names in the world with his own show, Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry, which premiered in January 2016. But with that sudden fame and attention came a lot of scrutiny. Sure, you had lots of people rooting for Tyler and believing in his abilities, but the more popular he got, the more people started to question what was really going on. After Hollywood Medium premiered, Tyler was reading for some of Hollywood's biggest names, including RuPaul, Eva Longoria, Jenna Dewan, Kris Jenner, Lil' Kim, and so many more. Each episode followed a familiar formula. Tyler would arrive at the celebrity's home with his notebook, sketch out symbolic impressions, and then begin relaying messages he claimed were coming from relatives, friends, or figures from their past. With RuPaul, Tyler brought up messages of affirmation from his late mother and grandfather. Similarly, he delivered Kris Jenner an inside joke from her ex-husband, Robert Kardashian. You could tell that moments like these really resonated with his celebrity guests, and that's what added legitimacy to everything Tyler was saying. He even sat down with LaToya Jackson and contacted the king of pop, Michael Jackson, to connect him with his sister. But Tyler's 2016 reading for Growing Pains actor Alan Thicke is what changed the medium's career trajectory forever, for better and for worse. The episode featuring Alan Thicke featured several discussions about the actor's life and career. However, for some reason, Tyler kept circling back to one topic: Alan's heart. The medium told the actor that he and the men in his family should pay special attention to their blood pressure, any heart murmurs or arrhythmias, along with any potential hereditary issues that might lead to complications. Now, this wouldn't have been weird if the psychic hadn't repeated it several times, even after Thicke told him that he had no family history of heart disease except his sister, who had previously had open heart surgery but was now fine. No one really made anything of the reading until a few months later. On December 13th of the same year, Alan Thicke collapsed while playing hockey with his youngest son. At first, the cause of his death was not known, but eventually, it was revealed that he passed away because of a ruptured aorta and what medical professionals called a standard-type aortic dissection. That's when his Hollywood Medium episode with Tyler started making rounds, as viewers pointed out that the psychic's prediction sounded like a direct warning. Some called it eerie, others called it a coincidence, but there's no denying that Tyler was thrust into the kind of spotlight that he had never experienced before after Thicke's passing. The cost of fame. In the aftermath of it all, a lot of people really started to believe that Tyler had a gift. Still, at the same time, skeptics claimed that older men usually have a higher chance of developing heart diseases, so it was statistically a safe guess to make. People also started accusing E of retroactively editing the episode or resharing clips in a way that made Tyler's warning appear more pointed. However, the medium has gone on to say that he still hears from Thicke even after he has crossed over to the other side, which has only sparked more debate on the subject. Anyway, throwing it back to the 2010s, the entire world was talking about Tyler at this point, with major podcasters and publications dissecting his show, episode by episode, trying to look for any kind of editing patterns or gaps in Tyler's narrative to prove that this was all just a sham. Tyler's cold and hot reading strategies were called into question, and many people actually started to believe that he was capitalizing on people's emotions to make them believe things that weren't really happening. Not just that, but tons of YouTubers took to the platform to show proof that Tyler might be using his clients' reactions as cues of what to say and where to take their reading. All simple psychological tricks scammers use to earn people's trust. But the controversy didn't slow Tyler down. In fact, all of this was only giving his show more eyeballs, and that seemed to be exactly what he wanted. But the Alan Thicke moment wasn't the only time Tyler's readings made headlines. Just a few months later, in 2016, Tyler appeared live on The Today Show, where he gave a reading to Jenna Bush Hager. During the segment, Tyler told her on national television that he was strongly sensing baby energy and that she wasn't done having children. He also claimed that her next child would be a boy, which is what's really shocking in this whole situation. At the time, Jenna laughed it off. But 3 years later, in 2019, she shocked viewers when she announced she was pregnant with her third child, exactly as Tyler had predicted. What's more is that the baby was a boy, and it was almost as if Tyler had been vindicated against everyone criticizing him. Once again, the incident sparked debate around whether this was just a lucky guess or another example of Tyler's intuition. Either way, it felt like Tyler Henry and his predictions were everywhere, whether you believe them or not. At one point, Tyler revealed that over 300,000 people were waiting for a one-on-one reading from him. By 2023, media outlets were talking about 600,000 names on the list, which just goes to show the level of popularity he had hit. While Tyler's public life was experiencing traction like never before, though, his private life came crashing down. But did he see it all coming? That is the real question. In 2022, Netflix announced that Tyler Henry had landed a reality series with the network titled Life After Death. The show followed the medium, not only helping other people seek answers about their lives and reach out to their dead loved ones for closure, but a major storyline also involved the psychic looking into his own past and trying to figure out his family's long-buried secrets. Sounds promising, right? Well, let's just say that the investigation ended up revealing way more than anyone could have bargained for. But maybe that's what Tyler wanted all along. Tyler's show features segments with his mother, Teresa Coelewin, who took an at-home DNA test, something meant to satisfy a simple curiosity about her ancestry. What she found out, though, almost tore her family apart. Teresa ended up discovering that the woman who raised her, Stella Guidry Nestle, wasn't her biological mother after all. In fact, she wasn't even related to Teresa. But the truth of the situation is what will really haunt you. Turns out that Teresa was actually kidnapped as an infant back in the 1960s, with her kidnapper forging entire documents to pass the baby off as her own daughter for practically her entire life. As Teresa and Henry dug deeper, they found out that Stella had an extremely violent and disturbing criminal past.
What happened? Why her mom was not able to hold on to her, and why this other person took her and never gave her back.
According to archived reports, she was convicted of torturing and murdering 2 people at a care facility she ran in Louisiana, and was sentenced to 2 concurrent terms in prison. So the fact that Teresa survived under her care was nothing short of a miracle. After the revelation, Teresa went on the record to share that she grew up believing that her mother was just a strict, complicated parent. She had no idea that she was hiding secrets this deep. Stella was eventually paroled in 2009, but of course, the trauma she has caused her family continues to run deep. Teresa described the experience as bittersweet. Learning Stella wasn't her mother meant she also wasn't biologically related to the siblings she grew up with. But she and Tyler still consider them family. Viewers of Life After Death were introduced to two of the most important people in Tyler's family story, Felicia and Peter, the siblings Teresa grew up with. They aren't biologically related to Tyler or his mother, but emotionally, they are family. Felicia is the middle sibling, the one who tried to protect Peter as kids, while Peter is the eldest, the one who spent years shielding Teresa from Stella's unpredictable behavior. Their childhood with Stella was far from normal. They weren't taken to doctors or dentists. Food was often scarce. And Peter has spoken about being locked in closets for long stretches of time. Despite everything, both Felicia and Peter devoted themselves to keeping Teresa safe. Even when Stella's crimes eventually pulled Peter into a dark situation that destroyed his dreams of becoming a police officer. Their lived trauma gives crucial context to just how deeply Stella's actions shaped the entire family, and why Teresa's revelations hit them so hard. As sad as all of this was, though, this is where public perception around Tyler really started to shift. As Netflix documented the family's discovery, viewers started to ask questions that no medium would ever want to answer. If Tyler can see the hidden truths of strangers, why didn't he sense this massive secret in his own family? Why couldn't he offer his mom the closure that he was so eager to give to his clients? Of course, Tyler was more than ready to answer these questions. He claimed that mediums, even those with abilities as allegedly strong as his, often cannot read themselves or their family due to emotional bias. The celebrity psychic claimed that his feelings tend to come in the way of his process, which is otherwise informed by a special kind of logic. Now, a lot of people bought it, but this only gave the skeptics more fuel against Tyler, and they started wondering whether Tyler was a phony after all. For a man whose entire career centered on helping others uncover their past, facing a mystery he couldn't predict, interpret, or even solve felt shady, to say the least. Behind the scenes, production secrets. Just when the Henry family had finally uncovered the truth behind their past.
Feelings when I met with my biological family were actually bittersweet as well, because while I loved them and adored them,
They were hit with yet another twist that Tyler probably didn't predict. And as the situation gained attention, people raised another question. What about the way Tyler's readings themselves are produced? Because the deeper people looked into the Netflix show, the more they found details that raised eyebrows. Whether you believe Tyler is channeling messages from beyond or not, one thing is certain. The production of Hollywood Medium was shockingly controlled, and this honestly raised even more questions about the psychic's authenticity. Tyler claims that he never knew who he was reading until the cameras started rolling, and that his team kept him away from the guests and any info before they actually sat down to film. This was a production choice to keep the readings authentic and dispel any rumors about the whole thing being premeditated. For years, fans believed that was what was happening. Tyler walked into a room, sat down with his notebook, and started channeling ghosts. And while most of these production protocols were true, they are only half of the story. Several people have taken to Reddit over the years to share their experiences with Tyler, and many of them claim that the medium refuses to do any readings on the spot, which is perfectly within his rights, but the pattern is hard to ignore. Tyler's readings almost always take place in highly structured environments, planned private appointments, carefully orchestrated live stage shows, and tightly monitored filming sessions. He does not initiate spontaneous readings in day-to-day situations, even though his show portrays him as always open to receiving messages. If the connection to the other side is so natural and constant, Why must the setting be so carefully controlled every single time? According to former production assistants, background extras, and even a few celebrity guests, Hollywood Medium enforced a strict code of secrecy to maintain the mystique. Guests were often asked to arrive through separate entrances. Their phones were reportedly collected or turned off, and before filming, they were instructed not to talk to anyone about personal details, not even in passing. Crew members claimed they were prohibited from mentioning the celebrity's name anywhere near Tyler. And some even say the reading room was swept for anything that might unintentionally give away clues. To fans, all of this proves Tyler is committed to keeping his abilities pure. To skeptics, it suggests the entire setup is designed to protect the illusion. Because the more controlled the environment, the harder it is to detect errors, slip-ups, or misses that might weaken the narrative. And if the readings truly came effortlessly, without guidance or prompting, then why wouldn't at least some impromptu readings be allowed? Why not prove the skeptics wrong with an unplanned moment? Even more interesting is that Tyler's notebook, the one he always scribbles in, has drawn its own controversy. He says the doodling helps him disconnect from logic. However, critics argue it's a stalling technique that gives him time to observe body language, think, or phrase questions in a way that elicits information. Either way, it's another controlled tool in a very controlled setting. All of this raises questions about whether these measures are in place to protect Tyler's gift or to protect the show. And while these behind-the-scenes protocols fueled ongoing skepticism, the man at the center of it all was dealing with something much bigger than critics or production gossip. While all of this was happening on the outside, from sold-out theaters to 2 hit shows, celebrity clients, growing wait lists, and whatnot, if Tyler really is a medium, then he was dealing with something far heavier than what we all saw. He was dealing with death. And eventually, even he admitted the weight was becoming too much. In multiple interviews, Tyler has opened up about the emotional exhaustion that comes with his work. While comedians burn out from constant touring, or actors from relentless shooting schedules, Tyler's burnout came from absorbing the grief, trauma, and pain of hundreds of strangers week after week. During the release of Life After Death, he explained that the readings linger with him long after the cameras stop rolling. Clients walk away feeling lighter, but Tyler often walks away feeling heavy, overwhelmed, and mentally drained. At the same time, though, when he takes a break from reading, Tyler claims that he stops feeling like himself. So it's a difficult cycle, no matter how you look at it. Not to mention that every interview he gave, every reading he performed, every episode that aired, someone was online breaking it down, questioning him, challenging his motives, or calling him a fraud. And that kind of pressure can crack anyone. At the same time, people started wondering who Tyler really was as a person. Sure, we know about his mom's past and their complicated lawsuit, but what about the medium itself? Who is he when he's not helping people communicate with their deceased loved ones? Tyler Henry's personal life. Tyler Henry Corleone grew up far away from Hollywood, in the small farming town of Hanford, California, a quiet place where nothing glamorous ever really happened. So how did he go from that to communicating with ghosts all over the world?
My job as a medium is to deliver messages. I can't stress enough how proud she is of you. I receive impressions.
Well, according to Tyler, it all started at the age of 10, when he suddenly felt an overwhelming sense that his grandmother was about to pass away. But was it really a vision, or just a growing sense of paranoia? Well, hours later, Tyler's grandmother passed away. And that's when he knew he had a gift, or that's what he claims, at least. As he got older, Tyler's visions only got stronger. So, in high school, he began practicing his readings, not on celebrities just yet, but on his classmates and teachers at Sierra Pacific High School, along with his family members. All of a sudden, his small town started buzzing with word of a teenager who knew things he could have no way of knowing. Soon enough, all of this spiraled into something Tyler had never seen coming. The future medium was always a bright child, though. He graduated early, at the age of 16, and wanted to become a hospice nurse. He claimed that his abilities made him want to help people transition from life to death. At the same time, he was already doing 6 to 8 readings a day. Slowly, his side hustle grew so big that Tyler seriously started thinking about pursuing it as a career. Given all the controversies he has been involved in, it's no surprise that the Hollywood medium likes to keep his private life under wraps. Long before his fame, Tyler actually came out as gay in his late teens, something he hasn't really spoken about in much detail, because he believes that his sexuality is simply one part of who he is, not the core of his public identity. It wasn't until 2025 that fans got a rare glimpse behind the curtain. On May 7th, Tyler announced that he had officially married his longtime boyfriend, musician Clint Godwin, in an intimate Beverly Hills courthouse ceremony. Their love story stretches nearly a decade. The two first met in 2016 when Clint booked a reading with Tyler after seeing him on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. During their session, Tyler connected with Clint's late grandfather, who had passed away under heartbreaking circumstances. That moment bonded them instantly, and Tyler later said he knew immediately Clint would be important in his life. Over the years, the couple remained steady, choosing not to center their relationship in the spotlight. They made their red carpet debut in 2018, but even then, Tyler admitted they don't usually discuss his work at home, a boundary that helps him disconnect from the emotional heaviness of his career. Around the same time, though, the medium also went through a traumatic time in his life and received his second surgery within 6 months to remove a benign brain cyst or tumor near the center of his brain. He shared the update with his fans as he began to recover, and shared how grateful he was to be doing better. Soon after, the medium is back to performing again, including live shows and his ongoing filming commitments. Outside of his relationship and career, Tyler leads a surprisingly simple life. He paints, travels, spends time with his mom, and steps back from social media whenever things get overwhelming. And maybe that's the biggest insight into who the Hollywood medium really is. Tyler Henry's life has been a whirlwind of fame, controversy, personal revelations, and resilience. Whether you believe in his gift or question the mystery around it, there's no denying his impact. What are your thoughts on Tyler Henry's journey? Share them with us in the comments below. Thanks for watching.